for thousands of years before the development of the modern-day Yonge Street. The original footpaths were nothing more than trails in dense forest, through muddy bogs, and over rocky slopes. As the Yonge Street route evolved, so did Toronto, and Yonge Street became the spine of the city, but it stretches well beyond the limits of the metropolis, and I'm heading north to the other end of Yonge Street. Long before Yonge Street ever existed, the land between Lake Ontario and Lake Huron was a mostly untouched wilderness. Home to indigenous tribes for thousands of years, the only break in the sea of green canopies was native villages and the trails they used to navigate. As J. Myers wrote in his book, The Great Canadian Road, beneath the mysterious treetops were three major Indian trails, which figured in the development of the Great Yonge Street route. And those footpaths he's referring to are the Rouge River Trail, the Don River Trail, and the most significant, the Humber River Trail, also known as the Toronto Carrying Place. These trails were portage routes that connected Lake Ontario to the Holland River, Lake Huron, and ultimately, the interior of the continent. These overland routes were part of a much larger trade network that stretched from the Gulf of St. Lawrence to the Mississippi River and the Gulf of Mexico. And the shores of modern-day Toronto were a significant port along the route, where goods could be traded and transferred from land to water and vice versa. As Europeans arrived in the 1600s and became aware of the ancient trade routes, they adopted the use of the trails for themselves. In the 1700s, as technology improved and better access north became necessary, a new route was planned that would allow a direct path to the upper Great Lakes. This plan was devised by the first Lieutenant Governor of Upper Canada, John Graves Simcoe. He named the route Yonge Street after his friend, Sir George Yonge, the British Secretary of War. With the construction of the railways, the lake freighters, and canals, Yonge Street sort of faded away as a trade route. But Yonge Street would become the center of commerce for Toronto. The downtown district along Yonge Street was Toronto's main street, and a lot of iconic businesses, venues, and buildings are found here. The first Eaton's department store opened here, as well as Sam the Record Man, College Park, Massey Tower, and of course Yonge and Dundas Square, recently renamed to Sankofa Square. While its inception was well-intentioned back in the 1990s, I really don't think Sankofa Square has evolved into what people had hoped for. Instead of it being a meeting place for families, friends, and residents, it's a meeting place to deal drugs, do drugs, and shout at pedestrians from milk crate pulpits about the second coming of Jesus. If you're planning to visit Toronto, scratch this place from your list. While Yonge Street certainly has a storied and colorful history, spending any amount of time here is one of the least enjoyable experiences in the city. I quickly got on the subway and headed up to Finch Station. I continued my journey north in a level of comfort that would have been unimaginable 200 years ago when the Queen's Rangers were hacking and chopping their way north, creating the original Yonge Street. The street is over 50 kilometers long, and the high-rises of the city slowly dwindle the further north you go. But not until you're almost north of Richmond Hill does the landscape start to resemble something natural. It's here that you encounter the Oak Ridges moraine. This geologic feature is 470,000 acres, covering 160 kilometers across south-central Ontario. It features rolling hills, river valleys, and lakes. Those early trade routes would have had to navigate the steep slopes and muddy lowlands of the moraine to reach the upper Great Lakes. Bond Lake was formed around 12 to 13,000 years ago as the glaciers retreated. It was named after William Bond, a sergeant of the Queen's York Rangers. Today, the lake is heavily polluted due to runoff and urbanization, but early travelers along this trade route could have camped, fished, and drank from this lake. Continuing north, we pass through the town of Aurora and arrive at Newmarket, which was established just to the east of Yonge Street. Like I mentioned earlier, the routes followed by today's roads and railways are not a modern development. Before any European settlement happened here, it was home to indigenous tribes who traded and lived along the Humber River. This particular location is along the eastern branch of the Holland River. Eventually, Europeans started a trading post at this location, and Newmarket eventually grew into a farming community. Just like Yonge Street was built to provide a more efficient route between Lake Ontario and the Upper Great Lakes, the Northern Railway was built to provide a more efficient and higher capacity alternative to Yonge Street. Newmarket, a small farming community along the Yonge Street route, greatly benefited from the new railway line and developed an industrial hub. Today, Newmarket is home to about 85,000 residents and has a thriving and beautiful downtown. The parks and streets are full of residents and families enjoying the downtown streets, as well as the running and biking trails. It's often listed among the best places to live in Canada. It's also located halfway between Canada's largest city and cottage country, offering residents close proximity to work opportunities and Ontario's incredible nature. Back on Yonge Street and about 10 kilometers north is where we reach the historic location of Holland Landing Royal Navy Depot. The buildings were actually located just a little further north and served as a transfer point within a network of roads, waterways, and portage routes connecting the Upper Great Lakes to Lake Ontario. From here, it's about 2 kilometers to the official end of Yonge Street. No great plaque or marker signifies its termination point. Simply a dead-end sign. It's kind of anticlimactic, especially given the economic and cultural significance of the street. At some point, the road did continue, but today, beyond the dead-end sign, it's abandoned and overgrown. But a short detour around this abandoned section of Yonge Street and we reach the other end of Yonge Street. This last section of road is less than a kilometer long and is nothing more than an unpaved farming road. But it ends in a similar location to where the Toronto Carrying Place Trail ended, which is near the banks of the Holland River and Lake Simcoe, which feed into the Upper Great Lakes. It's crazy to think that I've just traveled a route that humans have followed for 12,000 years. This flat lowland area is known as Holland Marsh. It's a massive wetland, and sections of it were drained for farming. The marsh did have very fertile soil at one time, which was good for growing vegetables. Today, the soil health has been depleted by poor farming practices and requires additional work to make the land farmable. Wind erosion is a problem too. Regardless, the industrial-scale farming in the Holland Marsh has a $1 billion economic impact for Ontario. It's likely, if you're in Ontario, that some of the carrots, onions, or lettuce in your fridge right now were grown here. For years, it was claimed that Yonge Street was the longest street in the world, at a staggering 1,896 kilometers. The Guinness Book of World Records even made it official until 1999, but that claim has since been disproven. Regardless of the street names, the road networks and waterways that connect us continue north from this spot and carry on towards the interior of the continent, and continue downriver from Toronto's waterfront and out into the Atlantic. Whether it's called Yonge Street or not, maybe I should just keep going. I'm Mark, and I make videos about interesting places and experiences here in Canada. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. See ya.